Back in 1997, Honda put a very special logo on a Civic, and it's this logo right here. It's the red H, and that means that this is a Type R. Since then, we've had 5 generations of this car, but this is the very first one that has ever come to America. And coming up right now in the fast lane car, I'm going to tell you why. Unlike the previous generations of the Civic Type R, this one has been designed from the ground up to be a Type R, which means that we could get it here in America. And what does that mean? It means that this, according to Honda, is a race car for the road. Is that true? Well, let's take it for a ride and find out. This is the most powerful engine in any Honda you can buy in America. 306 horsepower, 295 pound-foot of torque. Check it out, guys. There's actually a functional hood scoop that funnels air to the engine and keeps it cool. Probably coolest of all, this hood is aluminum to keep the weight down and to keep a nice low center of gravity. This is the 5th generation Honda Civic to be a Type R. There have been other Type Rs. There's been an Accord, there's been an NSX, but this is the 5th generation Type R to be a Civic. And you can tell this is a Type R because this red Honda logo only goes on a Type R. They're not 1, not 2, but 3 center-mounted exhaust tips. And the unexpected surprise is that this middle one is actually a resonator. It gives this car that sound that makes it so, well, so much a Type R. Now, of course, you probably won't be putting on a bicycle rack, but it doesn't matter because this is a hatchback and there's plenty of room back there for all of your stuff. In the United States, we are the first ones to be getting this car. Ahead of Canada, where I'm at, ahead of Europe, ahead of the rest of the world. Let's talk about how it drives. There are 3 drive modes. There's Comfort, Sport, and of course the Plus R mode, which is the racetrack mode. All those modes do is change some very important characteristics. First and foremost, they sharpen up the throttle response. So in Type R, you get different throttle mappings. Mode, you get much sharper throttle, so you get much more aggressive acceleration like that. You also get stiffer suspension, so when you're taking these corners, the car is much more planted. It's just a much more sharper weapon to use on the track. Back here on the hatch, it's where it gets really interesting. Look at all this aero. Now, these vortex generators clean up the airflow so that when the air comes over the car, it's smooth when it hits not just 1, but 2 spoilers. All that means is that this car has a much more clean way that it cuts through the air, giving you 28 mpg on the highway and a drag coefficient that's better than the previous generation. It's a car that if you get in trouble, if you push a corner too much, or if you go into a turn too hot, is very forgiving, and that means that it's a car that it's easy to drive fast. In fact, it's a car that always wants to go faster than you're driving it. So if you guys are getting one of these, be prepared to get some points on your license plate because it's always egging you on. And part of that is like this instantaneous throttle response. Just hit the red limiter there. It's crazy. It's just boom, 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 and you're flying right away. And it is a VTEC engine, but because the turbo has so much instantaneous throttle and torque, you don't even feel the VTEC part of it. You just feel the turbo spooling. And next thing you know, you're doing, well, way too fast. The The other thing I love about this car is the shifter. Short throw, very easy to go from first to second to third all the way to sixth gear. And keep in mind, there's only one way that you can get this car, and that is in this configuration. There are no options. It starts at $33,900 plus $875 for dealer handling, and you've got yourself a Type R. The one thing I would say is this is probably going to be a car that's going to sell well over sticker, at least the first year of production. So if you want one, I think you're going to have to expect to pay more than sticker price for it, because it is a bargain. What's interesting is that even though this is a 5-door car, 4 doors and a hatchback, back here there are only 2 seats, and that's the way it's been with the Type R, at least the Civic Type R, from the very beginning. It also competes with cars that have one thing in common, and that is all-wheel drive. The Subaru STI has all-wheel drive, the Golf R has all-wheel drive, and of course the Focus RS has all-wheel drive. And I asked the chief engineer why the Type R doesn't have all-wheel drive, and he said because front-wheel drive is in the DNA of the Civic, and even though they played with the idea of giving it all-wheel drive, at the end they decided that because it was part of the tradition of the Civic to have front-wheel drive, they kept it front-wheel drive. It also made the car lighter. So for instance, you have a aluminum hood, there's no sunroof, which would raise the center of gravity because sunroofs are heavy, and there's no all-wheel drive, which adds weight. So you have a car that is lively, it's tossable, and it's a lot of fun to drive. That's all good. Now there are a couple little things that I will fault the car on. First and foremost, that's rev matching, which is good, but the engine note could be a little bit deeper. There could be a little more baritone to it. It feels like as Honda's sharpest weapon, its sharpest knife in the drawer, it should sound as engaging as it drives. I'd love to hear that kind of crack, snapple, and pop when you let off the gas. Unfortunately, it's still very much a Honda in that regard, in that it's a muted exhaust. Also, there's a lot of fake carbon fiber in a lot of places. There's a lot of it on the interior, there's a lot of it on the exterior. If you're gonna have carbon fiber, I'm with Nathan. Make it real or don't use it at all. You have a car that is capable of 168 miles an hour with a back seat and 2 rear doors. But overall, you know, I think this is a sport car bargain. At just under $34,000, I can't think of any other car from the factory that puts such a huge smile on my face as the new Honda Civic Type R. For all you Honda fanboys, you'll know that the designation of this car is FK8. So for less than $35,000, you are going to get, well, the most powerful Honda that has ever come to America. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, Honda FK8 reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.